Okay, in this video, we are going to be talking about how you can develop simple power with the driver. Now, in this video, we're going to be covering how you can generate more club head speed, have a better launch on the golf ball, and also control the amount of spin you're producing. Now, this video is brought to you by our very good friends at Hack Motion. And if you want more information, make sure you head down into the description below where you can find out more about our wonderful channel partner. Now, one of the drills we're going to be using today is going to feature the Hack Motion, but everything in this video you can also do individually. But as mentioned, if you want more information on Hack Motion, which allows you to measure what is happening with your wrist, make sure you check them out in the description. We'll be working with them now for 2 years, and it is a fantastic product. So the first thing we're going to look at is club head speed, but it's not just about moving the club head as fast as possible. It's also about the quality of that delivery. Very simply put, you can move this club head through impact at 120 miles an hour. But if you're striking vastly from the heel or the toe, you're going to lose the potential energy being transferred into impact, which is why we need to make sure whatever the club head speed is, that we're striking around the center of the club face. Secondly, we want to try and control the amount of backspin that we're generating on the ball. Backspin is essential for all golf shots because it keeps the ball in the air. However, if you have too much backspin, especially with the driver, it could just balloon up into the air and you'll lose the potential distance on the shot. So controlling the amount of backspin that you have is key. And this is where we are going to start using the Hack Motion to make sure that we're delivering the club in successfully. Now I can have a look through the data that has been gathered with the Hack Motion, and I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but a lot of the numbers within here are within range. They are relatively good driver swings. But what are some of the key factors that you at home might be struggling with? Where might you be losing distance? Now, during lessons, one of the key things that I saw was an early release in the downswing with the driver, or a casting motion. Now, a casting motion is named because of a fisherman's cast. I'm pretty sure. I believe that is the fishing movement there. But what it effectively does, it releases the angles built between the wrists and the shaft. Now, if you think about this motion, that extension of the wrist angles, notice that it adds speed to the club head. So you're adding power in this motion. Now, if you cast and you release those angles too soon in the downswing, you're wasting energy in this area. And by the time you get down into impact, all that momentum has been lost. So as I go up to the top of the swing here, you can see how I'm hinging my wrists. And the Hack Motion is telling me I'm doing a good job by singing to me in an angelic voice. As I come down during the swing, during the transition, I want to be maintaining these angles until I can release the club into the point of impact. This isn't about, and people call this lag angle, this isn't about holding onto this angle for as long as possible. You want to actually release it through the point of impact. You just don't want to release it too early. So we turn, we hinge, we continue into the downswing. And the feeling really is as the left arm starts to point down towards the ground for a right-hander, we can then turn and release. And this is where you can pour on the power during that section of the golf swing. So up, hold, damn, too much. And then we could move into impact, release. Now, after you've had a few practice swings, let's just try and build it into an actual shot. Now, what I'd recommend with drills like this is to start slow and then build up the power, because it's very difficult to slow down this section of the swing, especially if you are used to that casting motion. But once you've gotten used to that, what are some other drills that you can use to turn on that power? Because we've spoken about maintaining this energy with the hands and with the wrists, but what type of movements can you make with the rest of the body to deliver that power? Now, a great drill to simulate the type of power movements that you want with the driver is called a thunderstep drill. I don't know if it was coined by me and my golf, but Andy and Piers have certainly used this in quite a few videos. If you've not checked out their channel, please do. But the thunderstep drill is pretty simple because it encapsulates a lot of the movements that you want to be making. So you start with your feet together, facing the golf ball. Now, in a driver setup, you want the ball position to be pretty much just inside the lead heel. Now, with this drill, you start off with the feet together, you take a step to the right-hand side for a right-handed golfer, nice and wide, but then you also draw the left foot back. Now, what you're doing in this drill is you're taking the lead foot, you're planting it back down where it was, and then you're pushing upwards from the ground. Oddly enough, it's not just about rotation. If you're hitting big drives, it's not just about the body turns, it's how you use the ground. Very simply put, if you can push into the ground at the start of the downswing, you can then draw that energy up by straightening that lead leg. So it's a push down and it's an extension. And it's this movement that adds so much power to a golf swing. Now, if you've not done this drill before, please don't hit a shot with it first time. Practice, take your time. 25 balls could last you all day. So I'm getting set up, taking that step with my lead foot, pretending that the ball is here. Then I'm going to step, draw up, and move through. So set up, step back, plant, draw energy up. It's amazing, once you start doing this drill, especially if you're not used to making that movement, the amount of speed that you can generate is absolutely huge. But it does come with a caveat. You know, this is an unusual movement to make. You may never have made this movement before when hitting a golf shot, unless you've been doing some Happy Gilmore swings. So this is a great way to get the feeling of speed, but how can we control that strike a little bit better? So we have a drill to stop the casting. We have a drill to give you the feeling of what that energy drawing up from the earth feels like. I've now got a very simple drill using 3 alignment sticks. Now, this is all about center contact on the club face. The yellow alignment sticks here, you can see that they point out slightly to the right of the intended target line. Now, if you want to control spin, you don't have to swing from the inside, but it's easier to move from an inside path and hit up on the ball than it is to move on a downward out to in path and hit up on the ball while optimizing spin. You can still get good spin numbers and you can still hit very good drives if you are swinging slightly from out to in, but this is a slight guide to swing from in to out and hit up on the ball. Hitting up on the golf ball with a low amount of loft on a driver will allow you to launch the ball high and spin the ball less. And that's an important combination to have. There's lots of factors within this around the numbers that we can go into, but that's a very simple way of describing it. Hitting up on the ball with a controlled amount of loft will allow you to launch the ball high and spin the ball an appropriate amount. We've got loads of videos on driving, which you can check out at the end of this video, but take that as a rough guide. Now, there's lots of different ways to use this drill, but here is the one that I prefer for most lessons. I'm going to take this club away and I'm going to try and get it passing on the outside of this back alignment stick. So from my perspective here, the alignment stick is underneath the driver head, so it's intersecting the shaft. I'm then going to turn up to the top of the golf swing, and then as I come down, I'm going to try and get the club head, again from my perspective, tracking along this back alignment stick. Now you can see here how it's moving slightly from in to out. And then as I impact the ball, I'm going to try and maintain that club moving along the front yellow alignment stick. Now the white alignment stick is here for reference of what a straight target line would look like. So I'm really trying to exaggerate this in to out motion. Now in reality, and this is a very important thing, reality, generally speaking, you probably won't move the club in this exaggerated manner. It's there for a guide. Now I can use launch monitors to track what my club head is doing, but if you don't have access to that, this is a great way to get the feelings that we're talking about. So I'm gonna have a couple of practice swings and then just try and guide that club along this back alignment stick and extend it over the front. It's actually pretty good. So club head speed there at 115, and the path was in to out by about 3 degrees. I struck up on the golf ball and controlled the backspin to 2,000 revs. Now, anything between 1,800 and about 2.5 is more of an acceptable range within that backspin number, but it does depend on a myriad of different factors, and I would always recommend, if you haven't, getting fit for a driver so you can dial these spin numbers in. Okay, a huge thank you to HackMotion for partnering with the channel. And guys, if you have enjoyed this video, make sure that you head over to these selection of Swing Quest videos to help improve your driving that little bit more.